Choosing the right reel for your fishing is vital. Be it a compact reel with a FREESPOOL facility or a big pit reel with slow oscillation and multiple ball bearings, we're going to talk you through some of the ins and outs technically of the reel. There's a lot of jargon, a lot of stuff that you don't necessarily understand. We're going to simplify it right down and help you choose the right reel for your carp fishing. I've got Dave Lane coming in. Manny knows a thing or two about reels and he's going to talk us through every single style and what they can do for you.
Okay, let's talk reels. Basically, a fixed ball reel is the type of reel we use for all our carp fishing nowadays, as opposed to a multiplier. They're basically a very simple mechanism, but there's so many variants. As Mark touched on just now, you can get different amounts of ball bearings, different races, different oscillations, but all of them come in the same category of a fixed ball reel. They can be used for all your needs, all your requirements, from margin fishing, long range fishing, spodding, markering, any application. What's made fixed ball reels so popular for carp fishing is they're easy to use, they're very good value for money. They usually come with a spare spool so you can carry different line strengths. And like I said before, they cover every application you're going to find in carp fishing. The mechanisms of a fixed ball reel, quite a basic thing. And no matter what features it may have on it, however technical they may appear at first, they're very user friendly and very easy even for the novices to get the hang of. They're precision engineered, so you can use them with total reliability, whatever the application. If you're fighting big fish on heavy lines at close range, if you're using them for distance fishing with fine lines. Another advantage with a fixed ball reel is the drag system. It's very fine-tuned on a fixed ball reel, so just by slackening off a little bit you can have that confidence to play a big fish close in, knowing you're not going to break the line, and if you did need to give it a little bit or clamp down a little bit, just a few clicks on the drag and you're in business. All fixed ball reels will come with a drag system of one sort or another. Basically you have a front drag, which is, as it sounds, on the front of the spool, adjustable here, and you have rear drag systems. So let's take a look at both of those drag systems in a little bit more detail. Both a front drag and a rear drag system perform exactly the same function, which is to lock up the spool at various strengths. So the tighter the drag is set, the harder it is for a fish to take line. So when playing a fish, at the moment that's set quite tight. If you want to give line, just simply slacken off a little bit, and suddenly it becomes a lot easier to take. A couple of clicks the other way, tightens back down. And this is a rear drag reel. Like I say, it performs the same function, but obviously the drag is at the back there. Loosen it just off to give line, quick turn, tightens it straight back down. It's adjustable in very, very many increments to give any strength of resistance that you require. The reason for a drag system on a reel is twofold. Firstly, it protects the line from breakage. If you set the drag just below the breaking strain of the line, you can use it in confidence knowing that that line isn't going to break. And also, the tighter you have the drag, obviously the harder that fish has got to work to gain any line, and the quicker you're going to tire that fish and get it into the net. Okay, although a front and a rear drag perform the same function, basically, a front drag has a slight advantage over a rear drag, because the front drag is mounted there on the front of the spool, so it's instantly tightening down on that spool in the simplest way possible, whereas a rear drag has got to work through a mechanism through the reel. So a front drag can be more precise, more adjustable and slightly more instant, and it's for these reasons that a lot of the top anglers today prefer a front drag system. Now we move on to ball bearings. Basically, ball bearings perform two main functions in a fixed ball reel. Firstly, the more ball bearings you have in a reel, the smoother that reel will run and perform. And secondly, the ball bearings will determine really the lifespan of the reel. The more ball bearings that a reel has, the smoother it will run and the less wear and tear on the moving parts within that reel. Okay, let's move on to line lay. Very important part of a reel. The better the line lay on your spool, the flatter the line lays, then the less resistance on the cast and the easier the cast will actually be. Easier, smoother, less bunching, less chance of frap ups where you get tangles coming off of the spool. A nice smooth line lay will definitely add distance to your cast. Because it requires less effort in casting, will obviously help your accuracy because you're not having to put so much effort into the cast, and you can concentrate more on exactly where you're dropping that lead. All good reels will come with a line clip. The idea of a line clip is if you find the mark you want to fish to, dummy cast up against it so you get your distance, pop your line behind this clip, and then every cast afterwards will hit that clip and that lead will land exactly the right spot every time. Quite often you'll see gear ratios marked on a reel or on the packaging. If, for example, it says 5.2 to 1, it's quite simple. A complete revolution of the reel handle and the bail arm will move around the spool 5.2 times. A lot of the larger big pit reels will actually have a slower retrieve ratio, and the reason for this is it gives them a stronger gearing, which will give you more cranking power when you're playing big fish at range on big waters. Fixed spool reels also come with many different handle options. You have single handles, you have double handles. The double handles, the manufacturers claim, give a better balance to the reel. But handles are basically a personal choice. You get different lengths of stems, you get the actual grips made from different materials, from woods, from plastics, different shapes. The most important thing with choosing a reel or reel handle is to make sure that you're comfortable with it. You've got to bear in mind that you're using that handle in all weathers throughout your whole year. So as long as it suits you and you think when it's wet, when it's dry, when it's hot, when it's cold, that's still going to be comfortable for you, that's the option. Another feature on a lot of fixed spool reels is the FREESPOOL system. This is a bite system. Simply by pushing this forward by a predetermined tension, a fish can take line on the run. And as soon as you turn the handle, the reel clicks back into gear and you're fighting the fish on your preset drag tension. Quite often on pressured venues, the fish will learn that some of the safer areas are the range areas, as far away as they can get from bankside disturbance and anglers' casting ability. So the fish you'll find are quite often in the middle of the lake. Now casting big distances, you need a reel that's capable of the job. We call these big pit reels. They'll have a much larger spool and a good line lay. And what happens is you get less friction on the cast because the spool's longer. You can take a certain amount of line off without it burying so deep into the spool. Less friction means easier and longer casts.
So, choosing the right reel for the job in hand is, again, it's one of those vital decisions that you'll make. Similarly to rods, the first thing you've got to say to yourself is, what style of water am I fishing? Is it a big pit where I'm looking to cast long with specialist equipment? Is it a smaller water, fishing more at short range? Are the fish going to take a lot of cranking in, if you like, for want of a better term? Is it weedy? Are you going to need a powerful unit to get those fish in? Or is it something a little bit more sedate that you're after? The balance of the reel, everything that Dave has talked about, all the technical jargon that he's explained to you, these will all come into your decision-making process. The vital decision boils down to price. Fortunately, from the budget end of the market right the way up to the top end high performance models, there's something for everybody and to suit every person's pocket. Thankfully, while you get what you pay for with reels, and undoubtedly the performance comes at the top end, you can still get something that's more than usable and user-friendly and suitable for the fishing in the lower price bracket. That said, bearings, as Dave spoke about, line lay, all of those key performances, the weight, the general engineering of that reel, you will get a better level of all of those things when you spend that little bit more. Essentially, to be fair, when you first pick up a 50 quid reel or a 150 quid reel, you're not going to tell the difference immediately. Maybe in the weight, maybe in the balance, but in terms of actually using it, it will take a while for you to get a feel for that. So if you're on a tight budget and maybe you're just starting out in fishing, there's no problem whatsoever spending 50, 60 quid on a reel that will suit you. One day you may progress onto the more expensive stuff, but straight away not necessarily. That said, if you're not on a budget and you want the best, then you will get what you pay for. If you're in doubt at all, the guys, as always at Fishtec, are there to help you out.